Hey guys, welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles! In the last episode we had a summation examination, and in that summation examination we managed to pull things around. It was really insane how we did it, and now we're here at this point of the trial. We're ready to present answers. We are supposed to establish a third party at the crime scene, and at the end of the last episode, I already explained how I think things are unfolded and what we are going to present. So I'm just gonna do that, ready to present answers. The defense is ready. I believe I can provide all the answers the prosecution demands.
So, my Nipponese friend, despite the swimming eyes, you seem to think you have something to say. This promises to be interesting.
I have to push forward now. There's no other option. I need to use every single piece of evidence available to me if it will make a difference. In that case, counsel, I would ask you to present the evidence without delay. On the night in question, in the moments leading up to the death of the victim, what proof have you that there was a third intruder present at the scene? Well, I think it's the blood sample portfolio.
Take that!
Because there is unidentified blood there. The evidence is right here, this portfolio. By Jove, that portfolio again, is it?
Do you expect the court to rifle through your papers itself? Be more specific. You claim one of those blood samples proves the presence of this third intruder. Well, which one is it?
Yeah, it's this one. Exactly this one.
Take that!
What am I looking at here? There appears to be some green paint or such like around the bullet hole in the middle of the calendar. That's a bloodstain, my lord. A bloodstain?
Green blood? Curious, even for you. Is the court to understand that the intruder was some unhuman creature?
It's something developed by Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
By the great detective?
New engine, stop! Not here appeared in stories, stop! It's this one, it's this, you see? It doesn't have a name yet, though. This fogger sprays a chemical that reacts with different elements in people's blood to change its color. Different elements? Of people's blood? Yes, everyone's blood is slightly different, you see, because it's made up of different elements. So by seeing what color it changes to, you can tell in a flash whose blood it is.
Ooh, that brings a whole extra dimension to looking at blood.
Talk of blood in courtroom, stop! Very exciting, stop! As an example, this one shows the blood of the victim, Mr. Windybag. Oh, striking blue. Yes, so you see, the green color of this blood stain on the calendar shows that somebody else was shot in the main part of the shop.
No hold fire there, young man. Could be from some unrelated incident, couldn't it?
No, it's not unrelated. The date showing on the calendar is the date on which Mr. Windybag was killed.
By golly!
Therefore, we can assume that whoever was shot on the same day.
Then whose blood is it?
Well, the Skulkin brothers in the stand don't appear to be suffering from any gunshot injuries. Which means it must be the blood of somebody else. The third intruder, in fact.
Objection!
Whose identity the court is still waiting to hear. You can't delay this any longer, my learned friend. Who is this alleged third intruder?
Well, I think it's Mr. Benedict. And my reasoning is... Oh, I can't just show you, but we have the disc. And there is some blood that is also that reacted greenly. And we know that it's his blood. So we're gonna present Mr. Benedict. The man's name is Agate Benedict.
Agate Benedict? Who on earth are you talking about, counsel?
He paid a visit to Winniebank's pawnbrokery in the afternoon before the incident took place.
When the accused attempted to deceive the pawnbroker into releasing this article into her possession.
That's right. The man identified by the defense, Mr. Agate Benedict. then attempted to take the article from the defendant by force. Broker?
Yes, sir.
I believe this filthy pocket thief has just redeemed an article from you, no?
Yes,
The article in question belongs to me. I demand for it to be returned at once.
Now that's a lie. What are you trying to pull?
Give me back my overcoat, you wastrel, and needless to say, any music box discs too. Inspector Gregson was there at the time and can attest to what happened. In the end, it was the inspector himself who took the disc.
Can you corroborate this account, Inspector?
Yes, my lord. That's more or less what happened. And in the interests of being thorough, I asked Winnibag for a print showing the fellow. Taken from one of his red-handed recorded, Gubbin says.
Yes, that's him talking to Mr. Windybank that morning.
And you claim this man is the brother's accomplice?
Well, Mr. Skulkin?
Never seen the geezer before in my life.
I'm alive, Gov. I'm alive. Never seen him.
Well, somewhat unsurprisingly, it appears our witnesses disagree with the assertion.
I'm sure your lordship recalls my learned Nipponese friend's actual assertion, which was that he could prove the identity of the alleged accomplice.
Yes, and I can.
Then show us the evidence.
I agree. We must see proof that the clean-cut gentleman in the photograph is the filthy criminal you say he is. This is the last piece of evidence. I've had a feeling that something has been missing in this trial from the very start. But now, I'm going to drag it kicking and screaming into the courtroom.
Are you ready to present your answer to the court then, counsel?
Yes, my lord. The defense will present the evidence now. Proof that the man pictured in this photographic print was in fact the person struck by the third bullet is actually the disc, I'm pretty sure.
Take that!
As I mentioned before, on the afternoon of the day in question, the defendant attempted, deceitfully, admittedly, to reclaim this disc from Windybanks.
Which is when the aforementioned Agate Benedict appeared on the scene, I believe. This man then attempted to purloin the article from the defendant's possession, no?
That's correct, my lord. I myself was present at the time. It was following that a minor incident occurred.
But of course, sir. Here is the disc for you.
Very well. Then I shall bid you farewell. Say goodbye to style.
Wait a minute. That disc is mine.
Ah! What do you think you're doing, you little tramp? You've drawn blood, you filthy animal! Being a music box disc, it has countless small but sharp metal protrusions over its surface. Those protrusions cause Mr. Benedict's finger to bleed, and the resulting smear of blood is still visible on the disc now.
Goodness, a bloodstain is it?
My assistant and I have just analyzed the bloodstain here in this very courtroom.
Using my trusty fogger gun.
Yes, and we added the results to this portfolio. I say, it's green!
It's exactly the same color as the blood around the calendar.
The evidence is conclusive. The man calling himself Mr. Agate Benedict, who was in Windybanks early in the day, is the accomplice who was present at the scene of the crime that same night. So there was someone else.
Look at those two brothers now. They're sweating buckets.
Oi, what are you talking about? It's boiling here.
My lord, it is the opinion of the defense that Mr. Agate Benedict should be summoned to the courtroom to testify.
It would certainly seem that we can ill afford to ignore this gentleman's apparent presence.
Objection!
This has gone on long enough now. This flagrant ignorance of the mechanics of law. Sherlock Holmes, you say? Yes, I've heard the name. The protagonist in a series of short stories for the vulgar classes. A god of detection or some such. And now you employ chemical substances devised by this fantastical persona in the highest court in the land? Do you expect us to take you seriously? The samples made by this plaything are not fit to be called evidence. So the bloodstain turned a shade of green. What of it? Here's to you successfully proving that no other blood in the world would turn the same color.
Oh, well...
And pray, do not even think of suggesting that we should take Mr. Sholmes's word for it.
Is he right? Is Mr. Sholmes' concoction a load of rubbish? I don't know. I mean, he's a great detective.
What are you talking about? We can't let him get away with that.
I knew it would come to this. Of course, Mr. Sholmes' invention isn't going to be recognized by any official body. But what other choice did I have? I'm just remembering what Father Christmas over there said before. About how he was temporarily suspending the summation examination. In other words, the examination isn't over yet, is it?
Good grief! What did you just say, young girl?
And in a summation examination, the decision is as to whether or not the trial continues is in the hands of the 6 jurors, isn't it? So the way I see it, it doesn't matter what certain other people think of Hurley's invention. At least, not for now.
Yes, she's right. Young lady, you have quite a devious mind.
It really just comes down to one thing. Whether these ladies and gentlemen of the jury are convinced by what you say, Runo. Is that about right, what you say? Or did I misunderstand something?
Unbelievable. Mr. Sholmes' partner is a force to be reckoned with.
Iris Wilson, sharpshooter.
After the shrewd presses of the situation from an entirely unexpected source, it must be acknowledged that the previous summation examination has yet to reach its conclusion.
This is absurd.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court now looks to you for your final leanings in this matter. As proud citizens of Her Majesty's Britain, I'm sure you will come to fair and just conclusions. So then, state your final decisions in turn, please.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty!
Not guilty.
Two call guilty and 4 call not guilty. Such is the outcome of the summation examination.
Objection!
My lord, with all due respect, this is an outrage. The prosecution refuses to accept this decision.
On what grounds?
If these jurors are persuaded by some half-baked concoction devised by a pretender to real police work, then they are too ignorant to be trusted with the judgment of anyone's guilt.
I'm sorry, Lord Van Zieks, but the outcome of the summation examination cannot be ignored. This trial will continue. Nevertheless, we find ourselves in a rather awkward situation. The defense has very reasonably requested the subpoena of a new witness. But sadly, I fear that will be impossible. What? The name the gentleman gave for himself, Agatha Benedict, is quite clearly false.
I don't believe it. Just when I managed to prove the man was there that night.
Could I say something?
Who was that, please? Who spoke?
It was me, my lord.
Juror number 5. What have you to say, madam?
If possible, Inspector,
Me, ma'am?
I wonder if you might show the photographic print to me again. The one with in which the gentleman is shown.
Right, yes, this one you mean, of Mr. Benedict.
Yes, there's no doubt in my mind.
Juror number 5, you don't mean to say you know this man?
Yes, I know him.
What?
No! Good gracious! Order! 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 Juror number 5, how on earth?
I am communications officer, stop.
As we can clearly see,
The gentleman in the photograph is, stop. Also communications officer, stop. He works in my office, stop. A very talented operator, in fact, stop. He should be in the communications station now, stop. Tapping away on the telegraph, stop.
this doesn't seem right somehow. I can't put my finger on why, but it doesn't feel right.
I suppose we all imagined the accomplice would be some sort of hardened criminal. It's a bit unexpected to find out that he's a respectable job by day, whatever he gets up to at night.
Yes, I suppose that's it. I suppose that's why I felt something was wrong.
If the gentleman is at London's communication station, we should be able to subpoena him within the hour. Lord Van Zieks, if you please.
Yes, my lord.
Make the necessary arrangements with all haste.
As your lordship bids.
The court will recess for 1 hour. When the new witness arrives, we shall reconvene to hear the gentleman's testimony. Inspector Gregson,
Yes, my lord.
I should like to hear from you specifically about events at the pawnbrokery on the day in question. Come to my chambers during the recess.
Yes, sir, my lord.
Very well. Court is adjourned until 1:40 p.m.
Well, we haven't reached the half-hour mark, which means I'm not even going to save. There's no need to save. Let's just keep playing. 17th April, 12:41 p.m. The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. Gina, how are you holding up? I'm starting to feel quite warmly towards frequent cold shoulders now.
Jenny! Are you alright? Why aren't you saying anything?
What's the point, huh? Why go to all this trouble and fight so hard for the likes of me?
What?
Well, you saw it, that picture.
What picture?
Oh, you mean this? The photograph taken by Hurley's red-handed recorder. Well, I didn't think it would have captured a scene like this, that's for sure.
It's hopeless. Anyone who sees that gonna think I did it, ain't they?
Well, I won't pretend it wasn't a bit of a shock when the prosecution first presented it to the court.
Surely you've gotta have your doubts about me now. You can't still think I'm innocent.
Of course I can.
Huh?
Ginny, why don't you talk to us? Tell us what really happened that night.
Yeah, it's about time, damn it, Ginny.
Readers clearly managed to piece together a lot of new information, but still, we'd really like to hear from you.
Alright then. It was after we had that dinner together at your place, right, Iris? Then we all had a chat up in your office, didn't we? Yes, I remember. After that, I just couldn't get to sleep. So I slipped out and went down the street to the 221 to Winnibag's place. I had to know if Iris' story was there or not. The Hound of Baskervilles. I don't know what's about or nothing, but if you ask me, there's something in that Sholmes don't like. Something what he don't want people reading. So that's why he lied to Iris about sticking it in lug with Winnibag for safekeeping. At least that's what I thought at the time. So you broke into Winnibag's. I just had to know if it was there or not. I mean, I had no idea all of that was gonna kick off, did I? I struck the lock and snuck inside. It was dark as you'll like in there. So I gave the oil lamp on the count a bit of wick, and that's when...
What you think you're doing?
Oh! I nearly died, it did, and next thing I knew... I grabbed the gun off the counter and was waving it in the air like... I don't know what.
Oh, you're the girl who wasn't there this afternoon. I didn't think pickpockets went in for armed robbery.
The mantle script. Have you got it here?
Did Jones
leave a load of papers with you? A story?
I beg your pardon?
The Hound or the something or other, if it's here, I want to see it.
I'm sorry, young lady, but I'd sooner die than relinquish an article belonging to one of my customers.
I don't want it. What would I do with it anyway? I just want to see it's here. That's all.
Oh, you want to see it, do you?
I want to know if Jones really pawned it here or not. Please, just let me see it and I'll go.
Oh, very well then. But for pity's sake, stop waving my gun around, would you?
So then the old cove unlocked the storeroom door and we both went inside. And it was there all right, the mantle script. Sholmes won't lie after all.
You did all that just to check for me, Ginny?
Anyway, then there was a bit of a kick-up out in the main bit of the shop. The Skulking Brothers arriving on the scene, yes? What was that noise? Someone's breaking in.
Dear me, is there some burglars convention here tonight that I don't know about?
I think I forgot to shut the door behind me, sorry.
I'd better get going and take care of it. Could I possibly have my gun back?
Well, I'll come with you and...
Now, don't be foolish, young girl. You must stay right here. Don't leave this room under any circumstances.
And with that, he took the gun out of my hands and walked back into the shop. I hung back in the storeroom like he said, straining my ears in the dark to hear what was going on. It sounded like they got into a bit of scrap. I started to think I should help, see? So I was just about to go out the storeroom myself when... I heard a couple of shots go off. 2, I think. Almost at the same time. And then there he was, right at my feet, lying face down on the floor. I was right next to the storeroom door, so I slammed it, shut, and locked it quick as you like.
Because you thought whoever has shot Mr. Winnibag might come for you?
Yeah, so I went to grab the old calf's gun. I figured I'd put up a fight at least. But when I got a better look at him, I knew. Winnibag was a goner. I felt funny in me and all of a sudden, kinda dizzy. And after that, I don't remember nothing. That must be when you passed out, Gina. If I had done what I'd done, the old calf might still be alive. Did you tell the police everything you just told us? Of course I did, but they didn't believe a word of it, did they? All they said was, if I kept telling lies, I'll make things even worse for me. It'll be alright, Ginny. Don't worry. Just stay strong a little longer. Rudy's about to put the real culprit through the mill. That girl, what was there in the afternoon? That Agate Benedict? I still remember how he looked at me like I was nothing. He was there that night. We don't know his real name yet, but I'm convinced that he's involved somehow. Anyway, thank you for telling us what happened, Gina. I appreciate your honesty. You what? You can leave it all in Runo's capable hands now, Ginny. Mr. Nara Odo? Yes? How come you trust me? I don't get it. I mean, I've forgotten what happened here before. Come on, it was only 2 months ago. Me and Michaela, we told you a whole pack of lies. And you got the bog trotter with him, even though he was a killer. No, I could never forget that. I did what I thought was best at the time. But the pain of that error of judgment doesn't get any easier to bear. Still, don't forget that I also made you a promise. I told you that I'd be on your side to the bitter end, no matter what. But what if I'm lying? You could be working to get another killer off the hook for all you know. I was once in your position, Gina. I was the accused in a trial. You were? Before I left Japan, I was accused of murder. And strange as it might sound, the circumstances of the crime were pretty damning. I was sure that no one would believe it wasn't me who'd done it. Oh, Runo. But there was one person who stood up for me, who believed in me, and was prepared to defend me. My best friend. Runosuke, no one believes in you more than I do. Leave this to me. All you need to do is put your faith in me, and I'll do the rest. I was so happy. I cried. But even then, somewhere inside me, I couldn't help thinking, surely he doesn't really believe in me, not completely. But I was wrong. As soon as my trial began, it was obvious that he had an absolute, unwavering belief in me. And in turn, I developed an absolute, unwavering belief in him. Since then, I came to realize, if you want someone to believe in you, you have to believe in the other person first. What are you saying? I promise you, Gina, that no matter what happens, I'll keep believing in you. So you don't need to worry. I won't let you down. even though I'm a diver and a no-good liar. You're not like Miss McGilded. I know that. Huh? That's right, you're our friend, Ginny. Iris. We know you better than you think. And we've come to the conclusion that you're someone we can trust. Yes. That's really all we need to know. Exactly. Mr. Nada, although I
Defendant Gina Lestrade and a legal representative. Court proceedings are about to resume. Please head into the courtroom immediately.
Yes, of course, thank you. I'd been both a defendant and a defending lawyer in time, so I knew only too well just how hard it was to put all your faith in another. And I also knew just how hard it was to bear the burden of another putting all their faith in you. This is, at last, the final chapter, the final battle. Wish me luck, Susato-san. And I hope you're watching over me too, partner. Well, guys, this is a very emotional end to this episode. I actually have to quit, not just because we reached the half-hour mark, but I actually do have a little bit of pee-pee in my eyes. And I have to... Yeah, you get the picture. So, tune in for the next episode of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. See you then.